Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. 600 people linked to the Sinaloa drug cartel have been arrested. The DEA is looking for you in the U.S. or floating in the Caribbean. The U.S. formally designated the Sinaloa cartel a terrorist organization. These cartels are powerful and ruthless, but they are no match for U.S. law enforcement and the military if properly engaged.
I think the aggressive approach is going to send a strong message to every drug trafficker across Latin America. In places like Venezuela, that's used as a transport hub from Mexican cartels and Colombian organizations to transport their drugs. That they're going to go after everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a president of a country or you're a drug trafficker.
Joining us is Senator Ashley Moody. Welcome, Senator. Thank you for being with us. The cartels have been in clear and present danger for decades, but this president in particular has placed a renewed effort on dismantling and destroying these cartels.
Well, the death rate from illegal substances here in the United States has skyrocketed, as you know. It's the #1 killer of working and fighting age Americans. And what has always been done clearly wasn't working. And President Trump said when he was reelected, we mean business. There's going to be a lot less talk and a lot more action. We can't stay on the defense. You now have heads of cartels becoming heads of state. And as long as they keep lining their pockets and growing stronger and stronger, we have got to be on the offense and to make a difference. And I think that's what you're seeing. And the difference here is it's not just that you had a head of a cartel. It is also the head of state in Venezuela. And so we've got to do things differently, approach this differently. And that's why President Trump and his administration have declared these cartels foreign terrorist organizations and are following through that they are going to be tougher to protect the American people.
Senator, here's the man you replaced in the U.S. Senate, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and I'll ask you about it on the other side.
They are narco-terrorist organizations. These are not stockbrokers. These are not real estate agents who on the side deal a few drugs. These are organized, corporate-structured organizations who specialize in the trafficking of deadly drugs into the United States of America. They pose an immediate threat to the United States, period.
Senator, these cartels are brutal and ruthless in a way that normal people just cannot fathom. They cannot fathom the violence that these cartels engage in. So if you're going to fight back against them, the rules have to be a little bit different.
Well, look, I served as a federal prosecutor like you, also a judge, before I was the Attorney General of Florida, and that gave a lot of perspective to me and how we addressed these cartels and illicit organizations. And I believe I was one of the first attorneys general in the nation to call for the designation of these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, especially in light of the fact that they were pushing so much of these illegal substances into our country and killing over 100,000 Americans a year. Many of them unsuspecting. So these drugs were being weaponized, and there is you cannot just sit back and let that happen, especially when they infiltrate and corrupt the highest levels of government as they did in Venezuela. And that is why you are seeing President Trump use the full weight of his administration, cross agencies. This is another reason we needed more manpower, more resources, utilization of cooperative, synergistic approaches to stamping out cartels and how they had flooded into our nation. And I really think you're seeing a lot of people say, finally, what we've been doing all along for decades was not working. And I'm just glad to see a president who takes seriously his role as commander-in-chief and knows full well that you cannot ensure meaningful liberty and prosperity for your people unless you first and foremost protect the sovereignty of this nation and stamp out those that wish to do Americans harm.
All right, before I let you go, let me ask you about Mexico. Are they trying to fight the cartels, but the cartels are just too powerful, or is there this marriage of convenience? Can they fight the cartels without U.S. help? What's your take on the current government in Mexico?
Well, in the last administration in Mexico, if you will remember, the fentanyl and their cooperation with the United States was always used as a negotiating tool. China does the same thing. They know what's killing Americans. They know they have a role in the fentanyl influx into our country. They use it as a strategic tool to negotiate with America. If they want to have a good relationship and partnership with the United States of America, they need to step up and do their part as a true partner in our war on protecting Americans. And as long as drugs flowing into our country continue to be the leading cause of death for working and fighting age Americans, they're going to do a lot. They're going to need to do a lot more than talk about helping. And I think this administration and certainly President Trump is going to insist on that.
Senator, we thank you for your service on this issues and also, frankly, your service in the courtroom, which is another difficult but necessary job. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Great to be with you.